morning. How's the snow?
I'm working from home today, and I have the last couple of days because it's a lot easier than trying to get stuck getting to work. So that's kind of what's going on here in Vancouver. I mean, the weather is almost as bad as the hockey team, but at least it looks nice.
Oh, but you know what's sad? There's a chance the weather will improve.
Yes. Well, I mean, right now I've kind of likened the last year and a half to the 7 circles of a hell, and right now we're in the 5th circle, which is wrath. And you kind of see it in Bruce Boudreau as well, getting frustrated with some of the questions, and it's just because of how bad it's been. And I hate saying this, but when you look at how they played, and despite the fact they've won more games recently, but if you look at the process, nothing really shows that they're about to get out of this outside of getting some results recently, and that's the toughest thing to swallow. It's like you can't point to, well, at least if they keep playing this way, it'll get better, because it's just getting increasingly worse on home ice recently.
Yeah, I mean, you have just as many 5-1 losses at home than you do wins at home. 5.
Yeah.
It's crazy what they're going through right now. I saw Thomas Drant's article or his column a couple days ago. I grabbed a line from it because I thought it was so good. Like, how does this Canucks supporting cast get both significantly cheaper and significantly better all at once? And the answer to that is that's impossible. So what's next, Sat? Like, how do you see this breaking down? Because it feels like the pressure is just building and building and building and building.
Well, for the time being, at least leading up to the trade deadline, they don't really have a ton of options. The way Connor Garland and Brock Besser are playing, they're essentially untradeable right now, or at least you're not getting any sort of value. You're talking about salary retention or taking back contracts you don't want to take back. So unless those guys play better, there isn't really much of a market to get anything of significance in that type of a trade. So it comes down to really 2 players leading up to the deadline, maybe 3 if you add in Kuzmenko. They're all UFAs, Bo Horvat, Kuzmenko, and Luke Shen. And with the way things are going, those are the only options you have trade-wise. And if I had to bet, I'd bet on Kuzmenko getting re-signed by the Canucks based on how he came here and how they wooed him and how much success he's had playing with Pettersson when he's healthy. But with the Bo Horvat situation, like, the only meaningful change you can do is actually make that trade. And honestly, guys, as much as we're hearing all the talk about him most likely getting traded and the contract negotiations have pretty much broken down, I'm not holding my breath that he actually does end up getting traded anytime soon. I think it's going to drag on into the new year. And if the Canucks make another effort to try to sign him in a month or so, I wouldn't be shocked, because part of the reason they're unwilling to rebuild completely is because they think they can maybe turn this around in a couple of years. And if you can't get anything of real significance for Bo, or at least not the value you want, and you can't move other guys for value, do they circle back and just bring him back into the fold? Which means the real change with this roster may not come until the offseason, and that's the real frustrating part.
Is that too late? Like, they might think they can turn around within a couple of years, but are you buying that?
I think it depends on the moves that you make. Because the one thing I will say, it looks really bad right now, but we've seen in different situations in the past, make 2 or 3 trades and things can turn around. Like, I do buy into that notion. And I'm not likening this team to the LA Kings that turned it around and won a couple of cups, but it seemed like that team was sputtering a bit. They had Doughty, they had some young players. Then Dean Lombardi went out and traded for Mike Richards in the offseason, and then Jeff Carter during the season. People thought, I mean, what is this guy doing? Trading away Braden Shen, draft picks. This team's not ready to win. What are we talking about here? And ultimately, that team got going and they figured it out. And that looked like a team, the Kings, for a while, that was failing to launch and maybe wasn't going to live up to its potential with the players that they had. So it can happen if you make the right moves. But with every game that goes by, and the issue that I have with what's going on now is, guys, you had a chance to move, namely Garland and Besser. How are you going to move those guys for value when you didn't move them this past offseason? You missed that window. And if you miss that window, then yeah, maybe you can't turn this around in 2 or 3 years. But I still don't think it's a lost cause completely if you do end up making the bold moves that are required.
See, I think a generational player only comes around, once in a while. And from what we hear, Bedard is going to be generational. This is a team that's never picked first overall. If you're ever going to blow it up, I mean, I think it's tough to argue against that.
But isn't the last 6 months to a year proof that the rumors around what ownership wants for this team is that they are not willing to do exactly what Kenny Reed is suggesting here, Sat?
Well, I mean, they hired Jim Rutherford, and I think Rutherford has full autonomy, but they hired somebody who shares the same vision as far as we can turn this around quickly. It's going to be a retool, not a rebuild. So right now, I don't believe ownership is telling Rutherford what to do, but they certainly hired somebody who was aligned with the type of vision they're looking for. And if that's the case, then, it all comes down to how you view that entire equation. But to the point you're making, yes, as long as that's the vision, you're not going to completely tear it down. But I would say for how things are going this season, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that if you do end up moving Bo Horvat at the deadline and you shut down Thatcher Demko, and the way this team is playing, they could end up having a bottom 5 record and luck into trying to get a guy like Connor Bedard. I mean, I don't think they're that far off with how they're playing. And honestly, if you're looking at their process, they've been one of the worst teams in the league this year playing at 5-on-5. So if they want Connor Bedard, keep doing what you're doing, man. Because you keep doing what you're doing, eventually you're going to end up with that type of draft pick this year. So I think for this year, it is possible that you have a horrible year and get a high draft pick. But if you make a couple of moves, I think in 2 years, you can maybe turn this around. But for this year, I think the best thing you can do is move Bo at the deadline, move Luke Shen, and maybe shut down some of your guys and hope you get that high draft pick. And then, in the offseason, if you want to retool things a little bit, go ahead. But at least try to do your best to get that high pick this year.
And as we were saying with Sam Cosentino in here, it's not just Connor Bedard. Now, that is generational, and obviously he would go over well in the Lower Mainland, given where he's from. But there are a few guys in this draft that might be able to make a real big difference. We're hearing the name Tyler Myers out there of late. Is that another piece that you could see them trying to figure something out with?
Well, I think they want to trade him. I think, honestly, like if they had their way, I think they would have traded Myers. They would have traded guys like Pearson. Heck, they would have maybe even traded Garland by now. And based on what things are going on with Besser, I think him as well in that equation. But Myers, the question with Myers is, do you make a move today, which would require you retaining significant salary and not getting anything of significance back in return to shed $3 to $4 million or maybe $5 million of that deal? Or do you wait until the offseason when he has a $5 million bonus paid? And if ownership is willing to pay that $5 million signing bonus, after that, he only has a $1 million salary, even though the cap hit is $6 million. All of a sudden, Tyler Myers in the last year of his contract making $1 million in cash, that is a real asset. You might even get a second or a third back in return if you retain a little bit of money. So with Myers, do you punt on that potential value in 6 months' time just to make a move today? And that's why I don't think a Myers trade is happening during the season. But if the owner is willing to pay that signing bonus, after that point, you're really talking about being able to get an asset back in return. I think that's the best course of action.